Okay, I see some people joining tonight. So we can just get started. Good evening and welcome everyone. My name is Fabiola. I'm a library assistant at the Aurora Public Library. And tonight's presentation is Citizenship and Recent Updates on Immigration. And before we get started with our program, let me just share a few things. So the library is currently open and offering the following services: Browse and Go, public computer use, curbside hall pickup, and virtual programming. If you are interested in using one of these services and want to get more information about it, please visit our website, aurorapubliclibrary.org, or you can contact the library at 630-264-4117. As a reminder, we will be recording this event and it will be available on the library's social media platforms. Well, for tonight, my guest speaker is Susan Beckmeyer. She is a Senior Legal Services Specialist for Work Relief, Chicagoland, and Aurora. Hi, Susan, how are you tonight?
Hello, Fabiola. Thank you for this opportunity to be here tonight, and thank you for everyone connecting.
No, thank you, Susan. Thank you so much for your time tonight. And I just want to let people know that if they have any questions, we're going to have our chat open on Zoom. You can type your questions there, and Susan will be answering your questions at the end of the presentation. And let's go ahead, Susan. Let's get it started.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Okay, very well. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, looks very
Yes.
good.
Okay, very well. So my name is Susan Sosa Beckmeyer at Work Relief in the Aurora offices. We have 3 offices here in Illinois, in Chicago, DuPage, that is located at Carroll Stream, and Aurora. And these are the services we offered at Work Relief. We are a faith organization, a nonprofit, and we started with refugee resettlement. So, and also we have, we work overseas as well, and inside the United States, we are on 13 states. So we started as refugee resettlement with the Department of State. We resettle refugees in our communities, and that means that we help them find jobs, register the kids to school, and find them employment, English classes. So all the services that a new person from a foreign country needs in order to resettle in the United States in a new culture. We work with volunteers as well and other nonprofit organizations. These are some of the departments that we have: refugee resettlement, immigration legal services, that's where I work, employment services, the education department, which offer ESL classes and citizenship tutoring at the moment, and that's free. We have volunteer and church mobilization and children and youth programs. And you can find us on our website for more information about our services. So this is the immigration legal services. These are the phone numbers in case you need to schedule an appointment or if you have questions. And also there is a link for each department, and regarding immigration legal services, we have updates in our website too as well. And we have in Spanish as well. There. Okay, so let's explain what legal status means. So some of you are maybe already familiar with immigration because this is regarding citizenship. So you may already be a resident, a permanent resident, because there is sometimes people say, get on the line, and why there are so many undocumented people, why they cannot become citizens. So there is no jump from undocumented to citizen. There is a process. And immigration law, it's a complex process. So what are the legal statuses of some people? So you're a US citizen, even by being born in the United States, or born overseas, but one of your parents is a U.S. citizen, or you become a naturalized citizen. That's what we're going to discuss later tonight. Then if you're a legal permanent resident or green card holder, non-immigrant visa holders, that is, for example, U visas or employment visas or exchange visitor visas. Then we have refugees and asylees. We have other temporary provisions like DACA, that's Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, also known as Dreamers. And then we have TPS, that's another type. And then we have the undocumented population. And based on my experience, people, they want to be documented, but unfortunately there is no law that permits at the moment to become a resident or have this apply for a non-immigrant visa or a temporary provision. So it's a complex process. Okay, so this says, where is the line? No, like how can you get a green card? You can get through family base if you are a relative of a US citizen and legal permanent resident. And there are different waiting times, like to wait in order to be granted this benefit. So depends on what is your preference, like what is your priority date, if you're a citizen or a resident, if you are a brother of a US citizen, for example, depends also by country. For example, if you are a US citizen and you want to petition your brother or sister that lives in Mexico, it can take about 20 years for them to get a visa available. But same category, US citizen petitioning another sibling, but it's from another country, for example, it can take maybe less than 10 years, it can be 6 to 8 years, depending on the country. Then we have employment-based visas, diversity lottery visa. There's certain countries that can be on this diversity lottery. Not every country qualifies for that. Then we have humanitarian provisions that is, for example, victims of violent crimes here in the United States, or asylees and refugees, that's humanitarian provisions. So, for example, if a person is a victim of a crime, it can be domestic violence, sexual assault, torture, kidnapping, and that crime occurred inside the United States, that person can qualify for can be U visa or T visa. VAWA is a Violence Against Women Act, and this is for when the abuser is a US citizen or a resident, and the survivor, it can be a spouse, children, or parent. So they can qualify for VAWA and they can self-petition. Okay, they don't need the US citizen or legal permanent resident to petition them. Okay, who can practice immigration law? We have the immigration attorneys, and we have also Department of Justice accredited representatives. Immigration attorneys, not every attorney knows about immigration law. So we have to be very careful who is going to represent us in any of these cases. For example, there is the AILA, that's American Immigration Lawyers Association. That's a reputable organization that if you want to know if your private attorney is in good standing or has a good reputation, maybe you can find them over there. It's AILA. And then we have the DOJ accredited representatives. And this is for nonprofit organizations. And I am a DOJ accredited representative at the Department of Justice, and we have to go through a process of training, and they have to accept our application and have to approve. So also, and there is a link here, we can get there. That how you can find the DOJ. And there is, for example, listed by state. Can you see that, this link?
Yes, we can
yes?
see.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. So there is by state, this is by the Department of Justice. So you can go, for example, let's go Illinois, or you have a relative somewhere else, and you can just link this, go to Illinois, and then we go there, let's see if it's, okay. Idaho. So we go by Illinois. So there you can find which organizations are accredited to represent people before immigration. So we have in Addison, in Aurora. So in Aurora, we have Family Focus that is in the community. We have World Relief. And these are the only two organizations, as you can see in Aurora. Then this is the other organizations, Buffalo Grove, Carol Stream. This is World Relief also, the office that I was telling you, Champaign, and Chicago, we have a lot of organizations. So this is how you can see if an organization is in good standing and they can represent you, because unfortunately, there are many organizations that they are not accredited and they are practicing immigration law unlawfully. So we have to be very careful with that. Okay. Okay, what is not practicing law? For example, translation, interpretation, or somebody that has some knowledge about immigration and gives you some information and refer you to somebody, or somebody that takes your picture, or somebody that hosts an information session, or somebody, or volunteer that helps you with gathering the documents, or like filling forms. First of all, filling forms is immigration is not filling forms. It goes more. It's about it's legal screening. It's checking if you are eligible or not, because every document that you submit to the government is a legal document. Okay, so we have to be very careful with that. And what practice means? Practice is representing immigrants to USCIS, that is when you go for an interview, or you go to Customs Border Patrol, or ICE, or Immigration Court. If you are fully accredited, you can represent a person in front of Immigration Court. That is for deportation or removal proceedings. It's drafting legal documents, filling out forms with the direction of an authorized organization, and giving legal advice. That is practice. Okay. So before we go to these immigration updates, I'm going to explain why it is important to have somebody to know about immigration law. Because, for example, when you apply for citizenship, immigration is going to open your file even before you came to the United States. They're going to check if you apply for a tourist visa, or if you apply for an employment visa. They're going to check everything. They're going to check if you renew, for example, your tourist visa, or when you apply for the green card, or even cases from amnesty. We have seen back in the day, 1980, 1986, they're going to check if you were, if you committed, for example, there have been cases that we have seen that people committed fraud in order to obtain the amnesty, okay? Or maybe for the adjustment status or for the green card. For example, the marriage was not a bona fide marriage, or other issues, or arrests that were not disclosed at the time when the person applied for the green card. And now it's coming up because now that their databases are getting more sophisticated, and they're finding out many things. They check your name, they check your the picture, facial recognition, they check your fingerprints, so they check everything. Okay, so that's why you need to go with somebody that knows about immigration law, because some of the questions that we usually ask: how did you enter the country? When? What type of who petitioned you? Did you have any problems coming back to the country? Were you placed in secondary inspection at the airport? Things like that. Okay, so that is why it's very arrest, for example, arrest. Even have you ever been arrested even by mistake with another person's name, or even juvenile expungement? Expungement doesn't work for people that are not U.S. citizens. We have to disclose everything. Okay, so expungement works for U.S. citizens. So that's another thing that we need to be very careful with. Marijuana, even though it's legal in Illinois, it's not legal at the federal level. So if you get a conviction or any arrest regarding marijuana use, even juvenile, so we need to be very careful with that. So you need to disclose that to the person that is helping you applying for any immigration benefit. Okay, so if we are not sure, for example, with any of the rest, we fingerprint you and we ask for your records, or we do a FOIA. Even if you were detained at the border, we check it was a voluntary return, or it was deportation or expedited removal. So we check those records. Okay, so that's why it's important that you find the correct advice. And nonprofit organizations were accredited, so we are very, the fees are not too high. If you want to go to a private attorney, you can go, but try to find the ones that are maybe related with AILA. That's a good start point. Okay, so let's talk about processing times. These are updates. Right now, because of the pandemic, biometrics, that means when you submit, for example, your citizenship or your green card renewal, you submit it to the government, they send you a notice, okay, this is your interview. They take the fingerprints, that means your fingerprints and pictures. Okay, so they're having a delay on that. What we're seeing now is that they are reducing those previous fingerprints that they took you like before. So we're seeing that. Then the interviews too have been delayed. So we have just to be patient with that. Regarding citizenship, right now they're scheduling interviews for the one that were canceled when the pandemic started, that they were already scheduled for an interview. They are, and it was canceled. Right now they are scheduling, they're giving that priority to those previous interviews that were scheduled and canceled before. Okay, then for DACA. DACA is a deferred action for childhood arrivals. So right now, it's open for initial DACAs, for advanced parole, and renewals. Okay, so for initial DACAs, you can visit our website, and there is under an immigration legal services in our department part of the website, and there is a video there for initial DACAs that we are telling people that wants to file with us to see that video first, and then there is some information there. When they call us, they give us that information, it's a code, and then we can schedule a consultation appointment. But we need that people see the DACA video first. We have a wait list right now for DACA and for citizenship. So don't wait until the last minute to schedule or try to schedule your appointment for citizenship. Okay, because you may be waiting 1 month, 2 months on our waiting list. Our fees for naturalization for the consultation is $50 for citizenship. And then it's, if you are eligible to file, we say, okay, you're ready to go. It's another $50 for the filing. For DACA renewals, it's $50. Actually, right now we have a grant that we can provide to people that are eligible to apply for DACA and citizenship. Okay, so then we're hearing all this, there are so many changes. There have been changes and now changes all the time. Sometimes it's hard to keep track. So the fees for immigration, they were saying is going to increase. So the end of December, they said it's still fighting on the courts. So right now it's not in effect, but it can increase the fee for citizenship, the fee for the green card, and the fee waivers. Okay, so that it's right now is not in effect. The public charge that's for people that's applying for legal permanent residence. That means for the green card. That what now the government is asking is that the person has to be financially self-sufficient. That means that it's not going to be a public charge to the government. So they're enforcing that more. So, that's a public charge. Then parole in place, right? That is, this is an option for military members, like for example, a member of the U.S. Armed Forces that wants to petition spouse, children, or parents. They can do that. It's called parole in place. Every case is different. And they were, it is at risk. This current administration wanted to eliminate that, but again, it's right now, there's no end date. So still, we're still filing parole in place. Okay, so, okay, we discussed that. Oh, another thing is, if you're applying for citizenship, or you are planning to apply for citizenship and your green card is expiring, the whole process for citizenship now with the pandemic maybe can take more than a year. So if your green card is expiring, we recommend that you maybe renew your green card if you're planning to travel outside the United States, or maybe if your employment is asking you for proof. Even though if your green card has expired, that doesn't mean that you don't have status. You have status. The thing is that you don't have the document to prove that. So it's up to you to maybe plan that in advance, okay? And right now what they're saying too for the green card renewal, the I-90, is that when you go to the fingerprints appointment, they give you an extension sticker for 1 year. What they're not going to do the stickers anymore. What they're going to do is when you apply to renew your green card, they're going to send you a letter that is going to explain there that your green card has been extended for 1 more year, okay, while the other one arrives. Very well. So we have the, okay. So this is the citizenship. Why becoming a citizen matters. Okay, and maybe you already know and you just want to vote, maybe get a better job, or maybe you want to petition some relatives, or you want to be outside the United States for a longer period of time. Because as a US citizen, you can stay outside the United States for as long as you want, and you do not risk your status. And this is different if you have the green card, because if you are outside the United States for a longer period of time, you can lose your status. Okay, so there is a presumption that if you're outside more than 6 months and less than a year, when you come back, you need to explain why you were outside that long. Okay, if you want to be outside more than a year, you need to ask for a re-entry permit. That's another process. Okay. Okay, what's some of the concerns? Some of the concerns are, for example, like some countries don't accept the dual nationality. Okay, for example, Peru, South America, you still can be a citizen of that country and be a US citizen. For example, China, if you become a US citizen, you lose your citizenship from China. Okay, so some countries are different. So in order to become a citizen, if you want to keep your dual nationality, that's something that you need to ask your country of origin. Okay, the cost of applying, so it's all about our fees and attorney's fees. I don't know, every case is different and every attorney is different. But for the government, you can qualify for a fee waiver. That means that you do not need to pay the government's fee if you receive public aid or your spouse receives public aid, not your children. It's only you or your spouse receives public aid, like means Medicaid or food stamps or cash assistance. If you receive that, then you are waived to pay the fee. You do not need to pay the fee. That's one option if you receive public benefits, or if your income is less than 150% of the poverty guidelines. So we explained that during the consultation. So how do we determine that? Is with your gross income, okay, from your taxes and your household size. Okay, and then, okay, so that is if you don't pay anything, and then you can qualify for a discount with the government. But that is your income is between 150% and 200% of the poverty guidelines to be able to pay the reduced fee. That is $405. Okay. The whole fee, I think, is 725. I'm not sure about exactly that, but it's 700 something. We deal with so many forms, and so it's hard to keep track of the total amount of the fee, the total fee. Okay. Okay, the cost of applying, and then some people is afraid of the interview, and then the English language and US government and history exams. And also if you have broken the law, so you can be, you can be deportable. When you apply for citizenship, if you do it by yourself or you don't have the right advice, you may be deportable if you have committed a crime, for example, okay? The interview is going to be in English. There are some exceptions I'm going to explain you later. So the English, and also in English, you need to be able to answer about simple questions or questions about your arrest, because we noticed that some people pass the civics, history, reading, writing very well, but then they cannot answer questions about arrest. They cannot answer questions about who petitioned them and explain that. And if you have a complex case, you need to be able to answer all those questions. Okay. So this is the process of naturalizing by birth, born to a U.S. citizen parent, acquisition of citizenship at birth. That means if you have a U.S. citizen parent and you're born outside the United States. Derivation of citizenship. That means if a father or a mother becomes a U.S. citizen and the child is under the age of 18, living in the physical and legal custody of that U.S. citizen parent, and that child has a green card, they derive citizenship. So they do not need to wait until the age of 18 to apply on their own. That's another process. That's a citizenship for children, and that's a certificate of citizenship. So we can help with that. Again, if you find the correct immigration advice, that's why we ask all those questions, because for example, people come to apply for citizenship, and then after we do the legal screening, we determine, no, you're already a citizen because your parents were citizens or one was citizen. So that's not a process for you, it's a different process. So somebody comes for DACA, for example, also known the Dreamers, and we find out, oh no, you can apply for PIP, that is parole in place because you have your spouse is in the military, or you were a victim of a crime, so maybe you can apply for BAWA or U visa instead of DACA. Okay, so that's why the legal screening is important. Basic requirements to apply for citizenship, it's at least 18 years old, have your green card, being a permanent resident in the US for 5 years, or if you are married, you can apply after 3 years with your green card if you are still married and living together with a US citizen. If you obtain BAWA, for example, you can apply it after 3 years, okay? Then you have to have good moral character. That means that you don't have any problems with any convictions or arrests. And some people make mistakes, so we just need to see the certified dispositions. Okay, so that's not a problem. Okay, have not left the US for a long periods of time, pass the English, history, and exams, and loyalty to the United States and the US Constitution. Okay, so the legal screening. What is the legal screening? I explained you a little bit before, so now I'm going to focus on citizenship. So what do we screen about? If the person is already a citizen because maybe they derive or acquire citizenship from their parents. Or for example, if another thing that we check is if this person has applied for citizenship before. Why was it denied? Was it only for English, or there's something else? Maybe a criminal conviction, or if there's something else on the record. So for that, maybe we do a FOIA if we're not sure about it, or we do not have the denial letter. Then we ask, how did you obtain your green card? If it through marriage, okay, you're still married to the person, what bona fide relationship evidence do you have? Because that may come up during the citizenship interview, that they may ask you about evidence about that. Okay, how I mentioned is about, for example, amnesty, if you disclose the truth on that, the amnesty. And then another thing is have you ever claimed to be a US citizenship in writing or orally? False claim of citizenship, and we're noticing they're asking, and it's on the forms for the green card and citizenship. And that is, unfortunately, there's no waiver available for that. we were challenging the cases that people that were registered to vote, but they have not voted. That's false claim of U.S. citizenship, but we were challenging those cases, and we prevail on those, but we have some pending, so we have to be very careful about that. So if that happens sometimes at the driver's license facility, that by mistake people don't read the form, and the person that asks you doesn't ask you if you're a citizen, because they cannot ask that. But only citizens can register to vote. Okay, if you think you have registered to vote by mistake, check it out in the voter registration and deregister as soon as you can. Okay, and if somebody has registered to vote and after deregistering, they can apply for citizenship after 5 years, because that's considered not good moral character if you register, but you'll be at risk. So you have to be very careful with that. Then crimes and arrest, disclose everything, fingerprint, or maybe the police took you to the police stations, you went to court, so we need a certified dispositions for that. Even they ask for traffic tickets, okay, any part in the US, and arrest is any part of you, anytime, anywhere in your life, any part of the world, so all that. Then the other things that they screen for and check, it's about if you committed fraud when you apply for the public aid, or if you owe back taxes, if you still need to pay taxes, or are you on a payment plan, or if you have not filed taxes, they check everything. Okay, or child support. That's another thing, child support, if you're paying child support. And the new thing is that we're noticing recently is for children born outside the United States. If you have children outside the United States, they want proof that you are supporting that children, okay, that are overseas financially. Okay, I talk about the marijuana use, smuggling. That means if you have assisted another person to come to the United States illegally, then the military service in any country, how was your involvement? It's not a problem if you were trained to use weapons. The thing is that if you threaten to use those weapons against other people, that is an issue. Or if you were active in combat, so every case is different, okay? Okay, so that is the legal screening, some of the legal screening, so you have an idea. The citizenship form has like 20 pages. The questions are, you can see they're complex, so don't take it lightly. And when you are at the interview and you do not understand a question, just say, please, can you repeat? I do not understand. And they can ask you again, but don't answer yes to get out fast from the interview. You need to answer only if you understand something. If you do not understand, say, I do not understand. Please repeat the question, okay? Okay, so what is the process? Okay, determine if you're already a citizen because your parent is a citizen, and then if you are eligible to naturalize after the legal screening, then complete the naturalization form. So, as I mentioned, it's not only filing forms, it's more complex like that, okay? We submit the application to immigration, attend the background check appointment. This is the biometrics, the complete English and US history and government exams, if applicable. And then if you pass, if you do not pass, you have another option to go. Okay, they will send you another notice to retake the exam. Then if it's approved, you take the oath of allegiance. So maybe you know that the exam is changing, okay? So the new exam, and this is only, please, this is only for applications that are going to be submitted or were submitted after December 1st, 2020. Applications that were previously submitted, they're going to take the old exam. Okay, so the new exam is for December, after December 1st. Okay, so now the new exam has 128 questions to read. It's more abstract and it's more complicated. okay? And before they ask only 10 questions and you, in order to pass, you pass 6, but now they're going to ask 20 questions and you need to pass 12. Okay, reading and writing is going to be the same. But as I mentioned, if you apply after December 1st, it's going to be 6 to 8 months approximately when you go for the interview. So you have time to prepare, and many practitioners at this moment are telling people not to worry right now much about the exam. It's just because everything is new, so you have 6 to 8 months to prepare. So this is after December 1st, when immigration received your application. Okay, very well. So what is the exemption for not to take the exam in English, that to not apply the naturalization in English? So if you are 55 years old and 15 of legal permanent resident status, that means on your green card, there is a date that says resident since, so calculate from that date 15 years. So it has to be 15 years and 55 of age, or 50 years old and 20 years with the green card. You can have the age maybe 55 and 5 years. No, you still qualify. You need to do it in English. It has to be 50 and 20 and 55 and 15. What does this mean? You do not, for these rules, for these exemption rules, you do not need to read or write, okay? Just answer the questions. And it is your responsibility to bring your own interpreter. Okay, so, and the interpreter cannot be a relative, it has to be another person, a mature person, somebody that it's interpreting what the officer is asking. So familiarize, give the interpreter a copy of your application so they can familiarize with the questions. Okay, and they're going to put the interpreter under oath. And right now, interpreters can be available because of the pandemic over the phone. So bring your phone, put it on speaker, and the interpreter will be interpreting through the phone. Okay. There is another, it's called medical waiver. When, because of a medical condition, you're not, you cannot do the citizenship process. But this is, it has to be, it's not because I'm old or because I don't speak or read English or I'm illiterate in my own language. This is only for medical exemption. It's because you have maybe because you have a problem that you cannot learn English. That it's something maybe brain damage or has to be something with that learning. It's why you cannot learn. So those are very complex, and here in Chicago, they're very difficult to win, but it's again, case by case, not everyone qualifies for that, but it's not because of age or because I don't know English or because I have any other medical conditions. It has to be something related that because of that disease, I cannot learn English. But it's not because I did not have education in my own country or I don't speak English. So those are a little more complex. Okay, if a person doesn't pass exam, they have another chance. They say 60 to 90 days. Okay, so it's good that when you are ready to apply, yes, and also we screen for English too when we do the consultation. Okay, so these are some citizenship classes or tutoring in the area. So for World Relief, that's our phone number. In Aurora, you can contact also Dominican Literacy Center. Okay, they're the nuns, so that's their phone number. You can ask for their citizenship. They give classes. I'm not sure about tutoring, but they do classes, citizenship classes. Family focus too, they offer in citizenship classes. And in other, for example, in outside Aurora, have Elgin Community College and COD College of DuPage. They offer citizenship classes. I don't know now with the pandemic how they're working, but you can ask. Okay, and also in the USCIS website, in the immigration website, there are a lot of resources for citizenship. Okay. And this is ICRR, is a coalition for refugee and immigrant rights that you can go to that website, ICRR, and also you can go to different organizations that can help you with to find an organization like World Relief, Family Focus, they do citizenship too, filing. Now I'm talking about filing the application, okay? Classes is one thing and filing is the other thing. So Family Focus, as I showed you in the map, they are accredited to practice immigration law, World Relief too. So, and like this organization, you can go to ICR who gets grants, like I mean, like more affordable price. So that's why we can offer it at $50, the filing. Okay, these are other resources, okay? For example, if you have a case outside the United States, your relative to come inside the United States and you're waiting for the priority day for a visa available, there is the, oops, sorry. You can go to their website and check what is the date that they're working. Let's see here. Okay. So here you can go to the, this is a current visa bulletin for January 2021. Every month, it changes every month. So for example, remember I was telling you about the siblings of US citizens. So that's F4, brothers F4. For example, right now, other countries, they're working on whoever filed on priority days before October 8, 2006. For Mexico, for example, it's 1998. You see, like now it's like 22 years approximately. And Philippines, they're working whoever applied before 2002. Okay, so this is other countries. F2A, it's spouses and children that are unmarried under 21 of legal permanent residence. So if you're a resident and you're petitioning your spouse or child that is under 21 and single, their C means current, they're working on those cases. F2B is for children that are over 21 and single. Legal permanent residents only can petition unmarried children. If the child is married, they cannot petition them. Okay, F1, this is for unmarried. Here they explain you what the preference. A married son or daughter of a US citizen. This is the LPR, legal permanent resident, married sons of daughters. For example, if you're a US citizen or you're planning to become a US citizen and you want to petition your sibling, brother or sister, so that's, so it can take 14 years approximately. I'm calculating correct, okay. If you're a US citizen, I want to petition your married child, is overseas, it's taking like 13, 12 years. If your child is single and over 21, it's like 6, 7 years. So, and this table changes every month. Okay, so that's a good resource. If you have right now an application pending, see here, because you can contact them too. Okay, there is a, let me see if I can find it here. It's travelstate.gov, National Visa Center, that's how you can find them. Okay. Okay. Well, some cannot find it now, but it's contact us. I don't know if this is the one. Let me check here. But there is a public inquiry like form that you can check online. There is a phone number. I would say do the link for the form because they will respond to you by email or by letter to your US mailing address, or maybe that's the best to have a record for that. Okay, let's see here. Okay, and this is USCIS, the website for USCIS, and there is a phone number. And on your receipt that you get from immigration, there is also a phone number. And here is the citizenship. Okay, and this is the Citizenship Resource Center, so you can find information about citizenship there. Okay, study materials, so everything. Okay. Okay, and these are our phone numbers to apply for the, to call us for an appointment. And also you can, before we start with the question, this is our website too, that you can visit us. This is the immigration legal services that I was talking about. Okay, so client resources, and there is in Spanish, if you know somebody wants in Spanish, and client resources. And we have the citizenship too there. Okay, so that's all what we do. Okay.
Susan, thank you so much. That is very important. And I see there is a lot of changes. I can't really remember, you mentioned about some changes on green cards. People are having green cards. Is any right now?
No, green cards are only the sticker for when it's going to expire. In the past, they used to put a sticker at the biometrics, at the, when they went for the fingerprints, they put a sticker, but now they're not putting the sticker. They're going to send a letter extending for 1 more year. No, but it's the same.
It's the same, okay, just in case. And just everybody, if you're looking for the links or the information that's been shared on her presentation, this event is recording, so it will be available in the library's YouTube channel if you want to watch it again and get the links there. Yeah, we had a question about, let me see, go back there. If they wanted the links to find an immigration attorney. So I think you mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, and that's one of the questions, maybe I can bring it up now. If someone is looking for like help regarding immigration, they have immigration questions, where can they go for help?
Okay. First, they can go, they have the nonprofits, so they can go to the Department of Justice, the roster, the list that says like by organization and by state. So you can check which ones are in good standing and which are recognized by the government, by the Department of Justice to offer these services. And these are nonprofit organizations. Then you have the AILA, that's the other link from the attorneys. That's immigration attorneys, because sometimes divorce attorneys or family law attorneys or criminal attorneys, they have no idea about immigration law because they treat them as U.S. citizens. For example, a criminal attorney, they can tell you about, you have a case, and they can say, because they can say, okay, it will be faster, less money, just declare guilty. But that's not good for immigration purposes. Okay, so you need to fight your case. So when you are in that situation about with your criminal attorney, just tell them I'm not a U.S. citizen and I need to fight my case. I need to see what going to be the consequences for my immigration status. That is, so let me try to go to the AILA.
Yeah. Yes. So hopefully we get, I don't know if Susan, you can share us all the links. People are asking for the links so they know where to go. Sometimes really difficult when you type on Google. And yeah, it's really hard to find it. There's so many options and we don't know where to go. Yeah. So Susan will be sharing all the links, and then we're going to post it on Facebook and the YouTube channel there. Yeah, with the video. Thank you, Jen. Thank you for asking that. It's really important and good. Thank you. There you go. Susan is sharing right now. So that's for finding an immigration attorney. So how can we avoid, if we need help, and then how do we go about avoiding scams? How do we identify them, if you can help us? Sometimes we have so many questions, and then sometimes we have weird calls, and then we answer those calls and they're asking for your personal information, and it could be confusing for some of us and people in general.
So if it's in Aurora, the only two organizations are Family Focus and World Relief. So you can send them to any of those. And we have grants, and that's why we can offer services that are affordable. And that doesn't mean that if you go to an immigration attorney also, like, they're going to be a better service. We handle so many cases, and we have the grants that we can offer these services. So, and that happens, unfortunately, the people that get victims of unlawful practice, that they think that they pay a lot of money and they get a bad job. So that's not good.
Yeah, always be careful. I said you can get calls or you can get emails or, you know, a piece of mail that's asking you for some information and contact them. They're just a scam. So I have to be very careful with that. I don't know if there's any more questions. If you want to ask Susan, now is the time. You can just unmute.
And yeah, another thing I want to say, like, this is changing, like, is constantly changing. So what you heard today about, for example, the fees are not increasing, or about public charge, it may change maybe next month. So that's why you need to find the advice. And I do not recommend that you do it yourself too, because even though you can be very smart, you think, oh, this is another form, I don't have any problems. And then there can be a problem later.
Right, as you told us, there have been some changes with the test, and that we didn't know. Now we know. Thank you for that information, because we had Susan last year, and there was no changes. We still had the 10 questions for the test, and now there's like 12 questions that.
It's before it was 100 questions, and that was in the past 100, and they ask you 10, and then you have to, in order to pass 6, you have to have 6 correct. Now these 128 questions, they're going to ask you 12, and 20. In order to pass, it will be 12 to have good. But again, this is only effective when you file your citizenship application after December 1st. Okay, and then it's not the previous applications. It's December 1st or later, and maybe for the interview have 6 to 8 months. Like, even though as practitioners we're not sure about the exam, it's just I'm giving you the update, but the other places that, or in the website, or maybe the other places, like they offer the tutoring, that's in World Relief will be our education department, or in Aurora is the Dominican Literacy Center. That's a reputable organization too for citizenship and ESL and family focus.
Okay, perfect. I don't know if there's any more questions.
Or any other links that you want me to copy there?
There's one question coming from John. Yeah, if you if you can share the links in an email, and then we can add it to the YouTube video,
Okay.
and then so they can. So is it true that with this new administration, the process to legalization will be a bit easier? We know there's a transition now of government. So what do you think about that? What do you know about that?
Yeah. Well, the future administration, what they're saying is, yes, there will be more friendly immigration policies. But again, to do a comprehensive immigration reform, something like happened in 1986. Since then, the law has not changed. That's why there are so many people undocumented. So to happen something like that, it has to pass through Congress first. Okay, for example, Dreamers, it didn't pass through Congress, but that's why in that time, President Obama, like they issued a deferred action that it's a temporary, but that's the only thing he can do. And it was at risk during this administration because they were going to terminate it, and we've been back and forward with the courts and all that. So hopefully it will be easier, but to pass law, it has to be through the Congress, and then the president has to sign. But since 1986, we have not had any comprehensive immigration reform. So hopefully,
yeah, we're hoping. Okay, let's see. Any more questions you guys may have? No, let's just say thank you, Susan. All right, I think there's no more questions coming. And well, thank you so much, Susan, for your time tonight and for this presentation. It's very informative and important for us tonight. And thank you everybody for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for the library, and I wish you all the best, and your relatives too, whoever is in this process. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.